crack in. Aziz, Derby week. I know you're always up for these ones. How are you feeling heading into this one?
Yeah, obviously a big game. I'm excited. Obviously, I missed the last one through injury, so yeah, it's good to be back amongst this one. And yeah, it's always a fixture you look forward to. You know, good atmosphere, two good teams going at it head to head. So yeah, no, we're all excited.
And Victory obviously got a win last week, so they're not quite so in the doldrums. I imagine you guys will be pretty happy to put them back in there, though.
Yeah, look, obviously they would have liked a better start, but you know they're still a good team. You know, you see the quality they have in their squad, and you know they showed it last week against a good opposition. So yeah, look, we're wary of that. You know, it's always a tough game against them, but you know we just got to focus on ourselves. You know, we're improving each week, and that's our goal. And you know what we need to do is just full focus on ourselves, and you know implement the game plan that the coaching staff give to us.
Aziz, mate, I hope you're well, mate. How nice has it been to just have, I guess, a bit of an extended time on the training track? You got back from Asia, but you had the weekend off, so you've just been able to rest and recuperate and get some good work in.
Yeah, it was the first time in a while where we get a full week of training. It's not just recover and, you know, pretty much just watch videos and analyse instead of working on it on the pitch. So, yeah, it was actually nice to get on the training park for a whole week and work on what we need to improve on and obviously study our opponents. So, yeah, it's been a good week on the track so far.
Yourself, long-standing veteran, time in Europe, you're used to these, you know, games every 3 days and the like. But how do you think the squad's adjusting to the demands of this Asian football back to the A-League? I mean, from the outside, it looks like it's going well. You've only lost once in the A-League, but do you feel that internally?
Well, to be honest with you, we've got a great group here, very professional. You know, everyone does the right things, whether we're on the pitch or off the pitch. But we knew it was going to be tough. You know, it's new to a lot of the boys. Obviously, we have a younger squad than last year as well. So, yeah, it's new to a lot of them. I think at the beginning was maybe a bit of a shock to their system with their body and how they're going to cope. But, yeah, look, with the facilities we have here and the staff we have, you know, we leave no stone unturned. So I think, you know, as we've gone deeper into this Champions League games, I think it's worked out for the better. You know, we've got that match rhythm. Your body gets used to it. So, yeah, look, we've had a good run there. Now we just got to close that book for a little bit. There's no games of that for a while and just focus on the A-League.
Aziz, sorry, mate. How you going? Just you just sort of touched on it just then. Like I know you didn't play in the first derby, but you guys won that on the back of 3 days coming back from like Japan. So that's a good sign. Isn't it, going into this one?
Yeah, look, you know, obviously last time the boys did really well. It was a tough game. It was a tough week for the group. So, yeah, look, like I said, it's been nice just to have a full normal week, you know, with your day off and obviously, you know, all your tactic work done on the pitch, whereas before it was more so videos and more walkthroughs on the pitch. So, yeah, look, it was just nice to have a full week of training all together, the full squad, leading into a big game like this.
And mate, how's the injured players there? How's Matt after his surgery?
Yeah, he's been good. You know, he was straight into the club. You know, he's already working in the gym. So yeah, no, he's walking around. He's all right. Obviously, Andy's back for us this week after his concussion, so that's a big plus for us. And Bessian's been on the training park as well. So yeah, look, the boys have been good this week. You know, everyone's looking pretty fine.
Yeah, just want to correct me if I'm wrong. I think you've only lost to Victory once since you've come back to Australia. Every other game's been either a draw or you've got the win. Just how have you found the cut and thrust of these Melbourne derbies since you've come back? Because you've played in some pretty big ones, Christmas derbies and a grand final.
Yeah, look, obviously, like I said, it's a big fixture for the league. You know, we're a big club. They're a big club. You know, they got quality players, and so do we. So, you know, it's a fixture you look forward to as a player. You know, when I was overseas, you know, you kind of just look at the derbies. You know, the atmosphere is going to be great. So yeah, look, it's just one you look forward to. But at the same time, you know, you can't play the game before it's played. So, you know, we're going out there for 3 points. That's what it is at the end of the day. So, you know, we can't look too far ahead of anything. We just got to focus on making sure we get the 3 points. But I didn't know that stat, by the way. Thanks.
The Victory looked a bit different since Valupale's come back. What are you expecting from him? And, you know, because I'm guessing he might, cross paths on Saturday night.
Yeah, look, they obviously, like I said before, they probably didn't get the start they wanted, but they're a quality team. You've seen in some of the games, I think the results could have pushed their way. So they have a lot of quality on the pitch, and Nishi's a good player. He's proven that. He's proven that in every time he plays for Victory. So yeah, look, it'd be a good challenge. He does add, I think, extra quality to their side, but we just got to just focus on my game and how I can help my team and us as a group. We just got to focus on what we're good at and try and minimise what they're good at.
Aziz, I know Derby's front of mind, but we were chatting before the draw happened, and you were saying, "Geez, I hope we get some players, some team that haven't played before." You must have been wrapped with the draw Australia got in that sense, at least.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, it's a different draw, from the previous two World Cups, but yeah, look, at the end of the day, you at a World Cup, there's no easy game. So, I don't believe in this group of death or an easy group. There's nothing like that. Like I told you last time, I think, if a country's at a World Cup, they're there for a reason. It's because they're a good team and a good nation. So, yeah, look, it'll be it's exciting times. Obviously, now that the groups are out, the countdown's on. So, yeah, it's exciting times when it comes around.
Phil was alluding to it before when we've spoken previously. Does it actually now feel a bit more real? You're like, oh, this is happening down the west coast of the US. We know who the teams are. Like, as you say, the countdown is really on. Yeah,
kind of obviously gives you that little edge. You get excited when you think about it. But yeah, look, I can't think about that right now. I just got to focus here. We've got two big competitions we're involved in. We're deep into the Champions League and doing really well there. And our goal was to get out of the group. And it's still really tight with only 2 games to go. And obviously the A-League. Obviously we want to put ourselves in the best possible position come the end of the season to be there again, challenging. So, yeah, look, my full focus is just here with Melbourne City and helping my team.
Because Aziz obviously weren't part of the past Socceroos squads during the last windows, but we got that March window coming up before the squad's named. That probably in Australia, I guess you maybe sort of answered it there, but you're confident you just keep taking care of business at City in Asia and the A-League, and you'll be able to force your way back into the squad for that window?
Yeah, look, that's always how I've thought about it. You got to perform for your club first and foremost, and make sure that you're obviously healthy. Obviously, I was injured in the previous camp, so I was gutted about that. But yeah, look, for me, it's just about focusing on my performances here and how I can help my team and my club. And, if I'm doing that, I put my hand up for selection and the rest is up to the boss. But, I just got to focus on myself and, stay healthy, keep performing and improving each week.
Is that sort of the message that you've been given to these guys like Kai and Patrick that have made their Socceroos breakthroughs, and they're inevitably excited about that, but then they'll start thinking about the World Cup as well, and it'd be so easy for them to get in their own heads about that? That's sort of what you're telling them, that they shouldn't be worrying about that and just focusing on themselves? Yeah,
look, I think they're pretty switched on kids. They know obviously they need to do their job here first, and that's the message that they get. Obviously they got to where they got to get their cap because of what they were doing at their club. So they don't need to change anything. They just need to keep improving. And, as long as you do that and you're performing, I've always been a bbig believer that you give the best possible chance to yourself of getting selected. Obviously some things out of your hand, obviously when it comes to selection, but if you're performing and you're healthy and put your hand up for selection, then you give yourself the best possible chance.
Aziz, was it entertaining for you at all, seeing some of the commentary come out of the US and that, where they're going, oh, Australia's a layup, and then I think people were having a crack at Popper, at your players, because I know it's been pretty fiery with the US. I know you weren't in that camp, but is that the sort of thing that excites you? You guys have proven people wrong before and obviously gotten out of groups before.
To be honest, I didn't really see the comments. I got told about it. But yeah, look, if people want to look at us that way, they obviously, haven't seen our progress over the years and over the last few months and what we did in the qualifications. And obviously, I think the last World Cup people would have said the same thing as well, and we got out the group and then took the champions to the wire. So, look, if people want to look at us that way, I think it's only a downfall for them. I've always said that I think us Australians in any code, when backs against the wall, is when we perform the best, and we just got to worry about ourselves. There's one more window left to obviously work and improve. And then after that, it's showtime. So, yeah, look, I'm always said, you just got to focus on what you can control, and what we can control is ourselves and not what the other nations think of us.